All right, guys, welcome to episode number 18 of Texas Gulf Surfer.
Wow, man. Texas Gulf Surfer, episode 18. Unbelievable. My name is Jeff DiNicola, your Texas Goodwill ambassador, man. I'm stoked on this program, man. We got an epic guest. Before we get started, man, I got to introduce my co-host. He is the vibeologist himself, king of Surfside, Austin Campbell.
All right.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Jeff.
Who do we have here, man? Who do we have
Man,
here?
we got the legendary John Jones.
The chief. The chief.
Yeah, the big chief. That's what we
What
call
did
him
I
out
do this
there.
time?
So, man, welcome to the show. We appreciate you coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Dude, this is exciting, man, because, we all have a history together with surfing, but, man, we're going to have some fun questions for you. Even though we kind of go back a pretty good ways, just getting updated and having you in this format's great, man. You've been an icon for surfing here for so long. And yeah, it's funny.
He means I'm old.
Well, yes, we're old, by the way. I always tell people, I said, if you put me on any beach, anywhere in this world within an hour, I will find somebody that knows this guy out of Texas. I promise you.
Yeah, he's pretty. Well, I mean, tell us a little bit about yourself. You grew up in Hawaii, right?
Well, I grew up, I was an Air Force brat, so I
Yeah.
grew up, I was born in Japan.
Okay.
I lived all over the place until I was 2 years old, and then lived in Delaware for several years. And then we moved to Hawaii. That was like, all right.
A little
Finally
change
get-
from Delaware to Hawaii.
Yeah, but I'd already wanted to surf.
Wow, man.
I'd seen Endless Summer when I was in Delaware, so that was like, I was hot to go surfing. And so when we got to Hawaii in 1967, my dad got me aboard, and we're off.
That's
you know?
great.
So
Yeah.
1967,
Yes.
right? So that was like, I mean, that was kind of like when surfing was kind of like just really getting to be like
Well,
popular. It was like spreading across the country right then.
It was a big thing already.
Yeah.
I mean, the late,
Yeah.
mid to late 60s.
But right there, that was kind of like a real big,
Yeah.
like it was, there was contests going in Texas and
Oh, yeah.
Hawaii, California, everywhere. So
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're in Hawaii. What's your
Yes.
next stop in life?
My next stop after.
In life, yeah. You're in Hawaii. You're a kid.
Yeah,
You're
it was
then.
great. I loved it.
Right.
I was going surfing as much as I could.
So how
So
how old
cool,
were
man.
you? How long did you live there?
I lived there from 67 to 70, so I lived there for 3 years. And, I was 10 to 13. So
Wow.
it was, and I didn't know how expensive things were in Hawaii because you're a kid. You don't know any better.
Yeah.
And I just know Mom would drop us off at the beach every weekend or during the summer on days, me and a few friends. She'd drop us off, wait till the lifeguards showed up. She'd leave, come back at sunset and pick us up. And left us $1.13
What
to
a-
buy a Coke, an ice cream, and a hamburger.
So you were riding some pretty good sized waves when you were like pretty young,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
there was good ways. We were mostly surfing on the South Shore. We weren't
right?
doing the North Shore as much when she dropped us off. Now,
Right.
My dad would take us to the North Shore
All right.
at other times, but at that time that was where we were mostly surfing. on the
So how do you get to Texas?
Oh, well, now you got to keep in mind, my dad was in the Air Force. He was a 22-year career Air Force person.
Okay.
So 67 to 70, that's Vietnam era.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
So he had to go back for his second tour in Vietnam in 1970. And my mom's family all lived here in Houston, Texas. And that's where we moved.
That's great.
Man.
So that's how we got here.
Right.
Right.
And you got a pretty good sized family that surfs out here with you, huh?
You noticed that, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we know some of them, and we see,
Right.
y'all have the family surf day and all that
Yeah.
good stuff. So it's pretty cool seeing, all y'all out there. So
Yeah, we've had up to 32 of us show up.
That is so
at one
cool.
time.
And
Man.
quite the vast majority of them are surfers because I've gotten to know
Oh, yeah.
some of your family and they're surfers and
Well,
you guys
just-
surf together. That is
y'all
excellent.
just drag some of them out there that aren't surfers.
Sometimes.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
just
cool.
to embarrass them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, man, I like to say you're one of the more popular and well-known people. Man, your vibe is always cool, and everybody just likes you. Even when we get in situations like allegedly me and this guy here cut off Johnny McGee. No, actually, Johnny cut me off on the last swell,
Hey,
and then you cut him off.
wait a
I've
minute.
never
So
heard
fun.
this story
Who
before.
who hasn't cut off Johnny McGee?
No, I had that
Especially
story
in his
wrong.
mind, yeah.
I had that wrong. I think I cut him off, and then John blocked for me.
Well, y'all do have like a little rivalry,
It's
definitely
fun to
over the
do,
years
man.
in TGSA.
That's
So
true.
that's,
Oh, yeah.
We
Yeah.
just love to do it, man. And speaking of TGSA and competition in the state of Texas, you have literally been involved for like 35 years. Am I even close?
Late mid to late 70s was when I started like judging and stuff like that.
Right.
And by the early 80s, I was in '83. I was the president of Gulf Surfing Association.
I remember
which
the
was
GSA.
Before,
Yeah.
before TGSA.
I was a judge for you,
Yes, you
and
were.
we did Matagorda contest and fun stuff.
Yeah.
And you really were instrumental in I heard up to 40% membership growth when you were kind of running the helm with the competitive surfing in Texas. And there were several different organizations. And I'm pretty sure that you have been involved to some degree or another, from president to treasury to everything I can imagine, in every organization since we have been here in Texas.
I've been involved in most of them, that's for sure.
Right.
So, and I've enjoyed it, and I don't know, it's my baby. I kind of hated to give it up, but I was ready to retire.
No,
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
what you
it's
do.
a lot.
you
It's a
know?
lot of work out there. So you've been surfing competitively for.
My first contest
A
was
long time.
in Hawaii, April 1970.
Okay. And
Yeah.
who
And-
you surfed against anybody in Hawaii that was like some big names?
You may have heard of Michael Ho.
No,
Definitely
man,
a
who's
little
that guy?
Yeah. So
Heard about
and
that
actually, there was another really good guy you may not have heard of, but his name was Robbie Husick, and those
I
two
think we heard
guys,
of him, yeah.
those two guys were head and shoulders way above the rest of us. But in that first heat, I surfed in. Michael Ho and Robbie Husick came first and second. But
Wow.
it was a six-man heat, and I came in third. So I felt pretty good about that.
Man,
Nice.
you're just a good ambassador for Texas. Weren't you quoted in Texas Highway Magazine something about like all Texas surfers get along, or what was that? I'm trying to.
You remember that better than I do.
Yeah,
I'm
I have
sorry.
some
Yeah.
sources, man. I dug deep all the way back to your
That's
days
probably
with
true.
Boog
Even,
and
even the
Galveston.
ones that don't get along, we kind of get along sometimes.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're somewhere else.
Yeah.
You're way more even tempered than
I
most surfers.
will say that I was thinking about, I always think about some of the things to ask, some of the guests, and I was thinking, man, John is just pretty cool out in the water. I know sometimes I'm a little loud and whatever, but I just have a method of getting my own little space. But I always think, man, John's pretty cool out there no matter what, and easygoing. Well, one thing, like I always think of how everybody surfs too, like each different guest we have, if they're surfers, and man, like you just ride long waves and don't fall off.
Man, I am here to tell you.
Right.
Listen,
That's what I see a lot of times, because I'm always like, well, this guy does this guy, what does this guy do well? And I'm always like, well, what does he do to win? Because I always say, he wins. Well, he just rides long waves and he turns a bunch, but he just doesn't fall off.
yeah, and you got the bag of tricks too, and I can't tell you how many times in heat I'll be there, and maybe I have somewhat of a firm command on the heat. Yeah, right. And I'll see John paddle for a wave, and I can just tell the way you're paddling, the way the wave is, and I just kind of look over my shoulder and go, God, I just lost that heat. And he'll take it literally to the beach, to the car, get off, and towel off, and the deal's done. So it's craziness, man. But you are really, really a good competitor, and you may not be like the best surfers around, but there is an art to surfing competitions, and Austin will attest to this as well. And it really is not about how good of a surfer you are. It's about heat management, sizing up your competition, a whole heck of a lot of luck, and picking the right waves. But man, you've really become a master at that over your 30 plus years of doing it.
Well, I don't know. I don't think, obviously, I'm not as talented as a lot of the other folks. And,
Me too.
Never going to be that, never was.
Right,
and,
right.
But I guess I think I have part of the mental part of that.
Right.
Well, kinda figured out.
You're pretty good at judging waves, like to catch them, right? And
Yeah.
then, like I said, you just ride. If you're gonna ride, if you ride the wave long enough, you're gonna get enough turns in there, and find a little section.
Well, that's
You
it.
know.
Yeah, a lot of people say, "Why did you keep going on that wave? Keep going on that wave." Well, if you keep going, you're liable to hit another good little section
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
you can do something with.
Yeah,
And
yeah. That's one of the things, and I'll if the wave's dying, I'll kick out or whatever.
Right.
But man, I try to ride them long. I just don't want to fall. My thing is like I'm just not going to fall off until the wave's dead. So.
Yeah, that's me too. I'm riding it as long as I can go. If it's to the beach, to the beach.
Especially here, if you get a good wave, you don't want to get off of it. You know what I'm saying?
And think about, I don't mean to give away a trick, but, especially these days, how many waves count? 2.
That's true.
You don't need
Yep.
a bunch of little short waves that you don't do much on.
Yeah, you need a good,
Right.
you need a good couple good waves. That's for sure.
That's all you need, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, man, that's you've been doing some things. You've been doing any trips? You just got not too long ago. You got back, didn't
guys
you?
always going on a trip.
Yeah, no, Gil and I. Oops, he said not to mention his.
Gil
we
Romero.
always mention Gil.
Gil Romero, Fort Velasco.
Hey,
I
his
gave him
board's
up.
back there. It's going to be done. It's almost done.
Don't, man, because
Okay.
you're rubbing.
Yeah.
No, we love Gil.
Yeah.
We love Gil, but I mean, he's like, when's Austin finishing
he's
my
right
board?
after Ford.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
He was going to sabotage Ford's board. I think he was back there.
And then
Yeah.
he was
two
gonna
more
sab-
boards
That's what
to
he's doing,
Jeff's
man.
board.
Yeah.
On record, 2 more boards to Jeff's board.
Yeah, 2
No,
boards
no,
to Jeff's
I'm
board.
next,
so.
man.
But I
but
have to get in line now. then,
yeah,
huh?
you have to get. Come on, man.
Yeah.
We'll get one for you for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. We got the good crew going back here. So
Very good. Yeah.
but,
I met Dougie today.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dougie's funny because he's from Hawaii and I think he
Yes.
lived in Delaware for a little while.
Did he
Right.
really?
Yeah, 'cause his
Okay,
mother-
How about that?
his
Isn't
mother-
that
Is
nice?
it his dad or
His
Uncle's
mom-
Ernie?
His
His
uncle was
uncle,
Ernie.
his uncle is
Ernie.
Ernie. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Boy, if you ever had one of his boards, man, you had something very special.
Yeah, Ernie was, great shaper, and Dougie's a great shaper too. We got him,
Sure is, man.
between like me, him, and KP here, and then we have Cunningham show up sometimes.
Right.
If he's not out there hunting,
Yeah.
or
fishing.
or fishing,
Yeah.
or building fishing rods, or
Yeah.
building something else.
Right.
But so, anyways, y'all do some trips, man. I've been jealous.
Me too.
We're coming with you next year.
Okay,
that's
come
the
on.
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's you've built a good little cycle that you and Gil and a handful of people go to Costa Rica. But I mean, you go for like months.
Yeah.
You go like for 2 to 3 months at a time.
Yeah. We usually leave in early January and come home in March.
Right.
And
just have little visitors come see you
that's
in between.
right. That's right.
They just cycle in and out. Once they find out y'all are there, people are going to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you kind of figured that out. Your better half must be very lenient as far as letting you escape for
Well,
3 months. Love it.
Well, she knew what she was getting into when it started
Right.
because, like the first week we were dating, I was like, I got to go to Mexico,
Right.
and I was gone for
It's,
a while.
it's important when you're in the dating stages to do that and pull that
Yes.
off right away, so they
Yeah.
know, man, he's for
Yeah.
flight of fancy,
So-
man. Could go any moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that was understood from the beginning, and I mean, early on when she'd just come down here with a book and a chair and
Right.
sit out there on the rocks and met all my friends when they
Yeah.
came by the car.
So let me ask you this. Growing up, we asked everybody this, who inspired you? Was it a Galveston guy? Was it a Surfside guy locally? Guy you looked up to? Was it, handful of people? I knew who I looked up to. And then, like, internationally, who did you really enjoy coming up?
Well, I had a favorite local surfer at the beach I surfed in Hawaii, but nobody would know him. His name was Chris Gardner back then.
Uh-huh.
And then, and you guys probably don't know who Pat Davis was, but the Galveston guys would all know.
Okay.
And he was one of my favorites.
I feel like I know that name though.
Yeah, but he was a really good surfer. But Eddie Jones,
Right.
who, I mean, and Bobby Morrow, and they were younger than me, but man, they were so amazing.
Oh, yes.
back
Bobby,
then.
yeah.
It's like, I thought, I'm coming from Hawaii. I'm going to be better than everybody here. Oh, hell no.
Oh, yeah. Galveston's always put out good
Yeah,
surfers, though.
no.
That's
and,
cool, though.
I mean, Surfside too.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
in Texas, there's a bunch of guys that went other places and surfed,
Right.
and we've, had some guys who definitely, some of the last couple guys we had on were, been all over the place surfing, but, and girls. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, heck, look, Aaron just won,
Yeah.
Hartwell Hartwell just
I know.
won
Yeah.
the national championship, right?
Exactly.
That is
Yeah.
so
So,
epic.
you know,
Congratulations,
yeah.
Aaron. That is
Yeah.
super accomplishment.
Well, one of the things we were going to talk about later, but I'll just go ahead and say it.
Yes,
But for sure. She, I saw some of the pictures, and she killed it out there, man.
She does,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
And when you look at her, and she's an athlete. There's no
Yes.
question about it. You look at her, she trains, she shows up, and it's legit, man. She is a really good athlete. I dig her. She seems like a nice lady. Good little family they got going down
Yeah.
there, and that's cool, man. So I have something I want to segue. It's completely different, and I think it's important. And I hate to throw you under the bus and be the guinea pig, but I want to talk about the injury that you had because we're coming in the time of the year where the bacteria levels are super high. And he dang near lost his leg because of the flesh-eating bacteria. I'm going to let John tell you the story, but I think you contracted it here in Surfside, if I'm not right. And
That's
tell
right.
us about your journey, the do's, the don'ts, getting in the water, out of the
A
water.
lot of people take that for granted, especially when young,
Yeah.
people that think they're, just
Invincible.
invincible
yeah.
in the water all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm scared shitless of that. So I want to hear about it, know about it, and it is surf related because
Yes,
we
it
go
is.
in. I'm the worst. If I got a cut and the waves are good, I might just go on now.
Well, don't do it in the warm water, especially.
So how does this happen?
Well, in my case, I It was Father's Day weekend, and I had a big plan to meet up with a bunch of my family in Surfside at Surfside Jetty, and the night before, or the day before, we were having a garage sale at my house, and one of those easy up tents.
Mm-hmm.
We had too much stuff hung up on it, and a piece broke, and it came down and cut my leg. Pretty deep cut. And Marlene's like, "You really shouldn't get in the water." And I said, "Oh, I know that, but can you tape it up with something, make it waterproof?"
Oh.
Yeah, we've all been there.
And
Yeah.
she said, "Well, I'll try, but you really shouldn't get in the water." I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!" I'm like, "Kids are going to be there. My grandkids are going to be there. My uncle, my cousins, everybody's going to be there. I've got to, I'm going to get wet," and I did, and that was a mistake, and I wouldn't do it again ever. But a few days later, I started just getting sick, and I was having all the things you don't want to talk about. Like,
Yeah, I understand. So you started getting sick before the leg started hurting real bad, or was the leg already?
The leg wasn't.
I was just going to ask.
It
That's
was
a
just
good question.
Just a cut. Nothing. Sorry about that. Nothing to it. But I was getting like shakes
Wow.
and achy bones, and I was freezing cold. It was the middle of summer.
Like a flu, yeah, kind of
Yeah,
like that.
and I mean, I was like, I put on sweatpants and sweatshirt and covered up in blankets, and
Man.
I was still
Yeah.
just shivering like crazy. And then my bones started aching so bad
Wow, man.
that I literally couldn't go to sleep that night. And so I sat up in a chair, aching and shivering, and doing the other things that I had to go to the bathroom to take care of. And finally, about 3 o'clock in the morning, she goes, "You ready to go to the emergency room now?" I said, "Yeah, but I can't drive."
Right.
But
right.
you didn't know it was related to the injury.
I did not. And
Mm.
she took me to the emergency room, and they immediately started hooking me up on IV
Wow.
antibiotics, 4 different ones that they
Right,
were putting into
right.
me. And she said, "By the way, take a look at his leg real quick." And she said he had a bad cut there, and he went in the salt water. And they looked down at my leg, and about that time, big black blisters started coming up. on my
Oh,
leg.
no.
It was right about the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh,
before that, we hadn't noticed anything
Yeah.
about my leg. And they said, "Whoa, let's get you into surgery as fast as we can." And
No way.
so they
Cut some of it.
ambulance to the emergency room was in League City, and they took me to the emergency into the hospital in
Unbelievable.
at Southeast Memorial, and I
Right,
I
right.
was in surgery that night.
Right. Yeah. So they just cut it out and.
They cut out a bunch of dead flesh.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've heard, even people, fishermen,
Yeah.
all kinds of, stuff like
Yeah.
that, and then cutting themselves out there,
Yeah.
oyster shells and stuff like
Right.
that. But
Yeah.
and I think surfers, man, we're bad about it because,
Yeah.
man, I've done it at Matagorda, man. I went to Walmart and got the waterproof bandages,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I don't
I'm like, it's like the best swell in
Yes.
Matagorda ever, and
Right.
I got just lucky or whatever. But that's what happens, really. You just get lucky, you don't.
I
But
remember a time when when I was younger, but it was cooler water.
Right.
Thank God.
Right.
And I mean, I had cut myself real bad on jetty jumping in Galveston.
Yeah.
And back when the water was further in,
Mm.
and I went and just took electrical tape and wrapped it up on myself. That's the only thing I had.
let's say electrical
And paddle
tape's
back
like the
out.
best band-aid.
And ladies and
That's what
gentlemen,
the
boys and
electricians-
girls, do not listen to them and
Yes.
take their advice on that kind of
Really,
preparation.
Please,
Go in the water.
please don't do it. Please
Not-
don't do
so
it.
So that cost you
Don't listen
dearly.
to our medical
Yes.
advice. That's
Yes,
right.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
that episode cost you dearly, some time out of the water,
Right.
probably painful and scary as all get on.
Well, I had 2 surgeries.
Jeez.
I mean, the first night, and then my wound care doctor said, "No, we need to get more of it out of there later on."
Yeah.
I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I lost 29 pounds in 2 weeks.
Man.
And then I was in wound care for 4 months, and the wound did not heal up for 4 months after that. And,
Yes.
so I was
well,
out
we
of
always
water.
we always tell everybody, if you got a cut, stay out of the water. If it's warm water, I mean, you should stay out of any water.
Right.
Jesus, man, that's crazy.
But especially when it's warm and you got the water's not moving as much. You know,
Right.
it's heated up. You get that bacteria out there. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
a actual Vibrio.
Yeah, it was Vibrio vulnificus is what
Yeah.
they told
Oh,
me.
that's a nasty name.
Yeah, well,
So that's
flesh-eating
been
bacteria.
like
6 years.
6 years.
6 years
6
ago.
years. Okay.
And
6 years ago.
And it's important, man, to people know if you do have that cut, that open wound, man, there is no swell good enough here in this state to have to go through that. I don't think.
Yeah.
No, especially like they literally told me that during the surgeries I did die
Yeah. No,
momentarily.
Oh dear heavens,
Yeah.
Jesus,
So-
Mary,
Man,
Joseph.
yeah.
And they told
I'm
me
glad
I
you're
had
here.
a 50% chance of losing my leg and 30% chance.
See, that's heavy.
of
Man. Yeah, it's not
That's-
worth. It's
that-
definitely not worth it.
No,
so,
it is not.
man, but you're all healed up now and winning contests again.
I can't win. He's
Oh,
he's-
you beat!
Yeah.
I saw you beat him in the last one. You beat him in the last one. I think
I'm
you did.
easy
Yeah.
to be picked off.
Yeah.
It's that daggum Johnny McGee.
Johnny
That's
McGee.
the guy, man.
Johnny's getting us too.
He's getting it because he learned to ride a shortboard and he just loves rubbing that in our face, doesn't he? Because
Well,
I told him the other
He's
day.
good at it.
The other day I was
Yeah.
giving him some lessons to a kid, and Johnny said
Yes.
he said he might need a little shortboard lessons.
Yeah.
if I tell him he got good on it, just his ego goes a little crazy if you tell him he's good on that shortboard.
Oh man, yeah,
Well, he is.
we love Johnny. We love
Yeah,
Johnny.
I
So
mean, there's a lot of people that just got in from trips. Sir Chet Davidson, didn't he just do a trip? The Nelson boys.
Yeah. Chet
You know,
was-
Dr. Johnny went, Johnny Wolofsky. They all went to Cabo, and I think that Chet went to El Salvador or something.
No, he's been to El Salvador.
Where did he
but
go?
He went to Costa Rica, but I'm not going to tell you where in Costa Rica.
Okay, it looked pretty special where
Yeah.
it was.
Secret spot.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Good for them. A lot of people traveling.
Well, I mean,
This
it's the time of year, especially. You know,
Yeah.
it's been
But, man,
flat,
for
but
early-
we've been having good surf.
I was
though,
just gonna say
right?
that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've had good surf, and
For June, man, it seems pretty cool to be,
Yeah.
2 foot, 1 foot, 3 foot. Man, I'll
Right.
take it all day long.
Man,
Yeah.
so is there anything? You're doing all kinds of stuff with surf and GGSA. Is there anything going on right now, or anything like any kind of kids stuff? What I guess anything?
You know what is going
me,
on?
no.
You've been-
No, for us, we're
Tell
doing
us.
nothing. But there's an expression session going on in Corpus Christi this upcoming weekend. I
Oh,
can't
for
get
the international.
Yeah,
surf,
that's what it
Oh,
is. For
cool.
International Surf
International
Day.
Surf
Yeah.
Day. Okay.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and Kristen, president of the TGSA, told me they're getting the flyer out and that kind of stuff. So I guess it's I'm assuming shortboard expression session. Could be a longboard, who knows?
I think that's usually expression session. I think that's
Yeah.
usually a longboard, isn't it?
And so that's down there in
Or is
Corpus.
that- I don't
Speaking
know.
of Corpus,
yeah.
good to
it's
see.
it's summertime.
Yes.
Good to see Nate back in the water, man.
Amen. Yeah.
Nate Ford
Oh,
back
yeah,
in the
yeah,
water,
yeah.
guy is.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Oh,
Glad he's back, man.
I am
Shoes,
too.
they were doing like some commercials with like Toyota or
Yeah,
something.
what was
weren't
that?
they?
A Land Rover
Yeah.
or something? What's that all about?
It was for the Howler Brothers.
I think
something
it's
like
cool.
That.
I
So, yeah, it was
watched
pretty
it.
cool. It was pretty cool. I seen it. Yeah,
That
and
is
they're
cool,
always
man.
doing some kind of stuff down there. So, what do you got? What do you got planned? Going anywhere? I guess you did your trip already, huh? Getting ready.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, what my plan is, and we'll see if it actually happens, is I need my right knee replaced. So
Right.
I'll probably be out of the water for about 3 months.
And when is that scheduled?
Well, it was scheduled for this week, but
you got to get it done before the season starts, though.
Exactly.
You can't let these guys get
Yeah.
get a head
they'll
start.
get a head start
you
on
know?
me, and I'll be way back behind them, right?
Well, man, I'm going to be praying for you. I know that knee replacement's done every day. It's a pretty successful surgery. I think you're going to be fine.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I just want to get the clearance to get started and get it going so that I can get back in the water as soon as possible.
Get back in there.
You
for
definitely will, man.
You know, wintertime gets
There's-
pretty good. So,
Yeah, there's no question
so
about that.
what kind of boards you been riding lately?
Well, the new board that I have is it's a custom Redline 11, Stewart Redline 11, but
okay.
it's a longer one than their standard one. So I'm riding a 9.6, and I love it, and it's especially in good surf. And
That's the one that's real colorful.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
I seen you out there.
Yeah,
I'm pulling
it was
it out.
one of the
other day.
deals where they offered a special deal. It'll give you a free paint job,
Yeah.
and so I'll take it. You know,
Yeah.
thank you.
No, those red lines. They're good boards. You know?
Yeah.
I like any of the boards that are made in made in USA or made at your local place. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
So
Well, when this surgery goes down, no pressure, but on the 28th of June, even
Yes.
if you're in a wheelchair, I will personally wheel you into the Texas Surf Museum.
Very good. I'm
So
looking
for
forward to it.
more interviews and more fun. In fact, I'll let you interview people.
yeah,
Even more better.
We definitely
wow.
want. We definitely
That's
want to
scary.
mention that. We got the.
Yes.
That's the. I was going to say that one of the things I was thinking earlier. I was like, well, we got. We could do up and down the coast, but John's involved. He knows there's so much going on. We kind of got like up and
Yeah,
down the
he
coast.
can tell us
we
everything's
could ask
going
him
on.
what's going on. But yeah, so we can't forget to, Texas Surf Museum. We're going to be out there live
28th.
on the 28th, June 28th. So it's coming up pretty soon.
It's
and
gaining steam.
yeah, and it looks like it's going to be a good time. They got all kinds of good stuff. We've already got a couple guests kind of lined up,
Good deal.
for some people, some of the local Galveston guys.
Yeah.
And,
a treat for me is allegedly Bobo Conde is going to.
All right.
Yeah, he's going to tell us some cool stuff, man.
All
Whatever
right.
that is.
Yeah.
That's what they say. So, but yeah, it's going to be a good time, and fundraiser. We're going to have. I think Al said some door prizes.
Yeah,
All right.
door prize.
Door
They're
prizes.
giving away a Stewart. I think a 9-foot
Oh,
Stewart.
yeah, raffle.
That's Johnny Romano's, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
nice, man.
Yeah, a raffle.
I love that.
Free snacks and beer.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
All you gotta do is be a member, or $20 to get in, man. So
Right.
it looks like it's gonna
Yeah.
be a good time.
I talked to Steve Hirsch, a friend of the show. He's committed to coming and
Good.
threatening to talk to us on camera and mic, so that'll be fun too.
All right.
Steve's always got a bunch of cool stuff to say.
All right.
Stuff like that, man. But so any surf in the future? Now, just let me know, because is this tropical wave? Did that thing come to fruition? And that's the question for both of you guys. Is there anything happening for me to be excited about?
Is Johnny McGee the only one talking about
He
it?
made that
Is
up.
that just something he made up? Because
Oh no, I saw it on the forecast.
I saw something.
Yes, but I was like, okay, we'll see if it really happens.
Did
or
it
not.
fizzle?
Yeah.
You don't make me.
Oh,
check.
I didn't see. Actually, I did not.
I think that was
see
like a
anything
long out
Yes,
forecast.
it
Like
was.
it would be like next week or something
right.
like that.
And
So,
Right.
now I don't see it anymore. Do you?
I haven't seen anything.
I've got the 16-day
Oh,
advanced forecast, and it has disappeared. At
Gotcha.
least for now.
Man.
That could change too.
I don't
Gotcha.
mind if a little something pushes some waves in, but I'll trade no surf for no hurricane for the
Yes.
rest of the summer.
Yeah. I could just deal with it being flat the entire summer. Just spare us from any kind of direct hit from a hurricane. That's all I
So,
care about.
man, one of the things I wanted to ask you is, like, since you've been surfing competitively, when did you start surfing in Texas competitively?
1975 on my 18th birthday.
So the difference between then and now, it's pretty significant.
Yeah.
As far as the not like personally, but like just the
No, it's different.
it's
in a
like
lot of
it seemed
ways.
like it was like you see pictures of like all those hundreds of people watching, and just more people. I remember even in the 80s and 90s, well, mostly 80s and maybe early 90s, when I did a couple of contests and stuff like that, that there was like north-south divisions,
Yep.
because there were so many more people here. There were so many more kids here surfing.
Right.
Right.
So, like, since you surfed in all these different decades here, right?
Yeah.
Like, which was the most popular decade, and have you seen it like decline and now kind of come back up again?
It definitely has gone through declines and coming back, but both ways,
Right.
multiple times. But I mean, back in the late '60s, early '70s, you had the Pepsi contest. in
Right.
I always
Galveston.
think of that. Yeah.
And I mean, it was literally on a Saturday afternoon TV show
Yeah.
that they played in Houston back then, and people would win motorcycles
Right.
and trips to California for the US
And you had guys coming
championships.
from other states here.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yancey Spencer
Yeah.
from Florida used to come.
All the time.
Do you think it was because the waves were better, or do you think it was just the popularity?
No, it was just that was very, very popular at that time, and it died out a little bit, but then it came back again.
Yeah.
In the early '80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we had huge turnouts. I mean,
Yeah.
we'd have 100 people in.
And the Floridians, I remember Yancey,
Yeah.
Beezer Turner, and
Beezer
both
Turner.
J.B. Falbo coming
Yes.
down to South Padre Island and
Yes.
just surfing with us and hanging
Right.
out with us, having
Yeah.
a great time.
Yeah, I
Well-
felt like right around like the early to mid '90s, it kind of like started fizzling out a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's kind of what I
Mhm.
saw. That's
multiple times.
yeah.
Yeah.
But now I feel like, for whatever reason, like in TGSA, I'm seeing like all these. Man, there's like we're like building an army of like girl surfers.
Yes.
Man,
We
there's a ton of little groms out there that are and there's a bunch of guys, boys out there
Right.
too.
Yeah.
But I think that the popularity is on the rise.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just nationally, I think the Olympics and some other things had to do with it.
Right.
Like I see commercials using surfboards for stuff, so
Right.
it's
Oh, yeah.
popular. But I always want to think about that, because I kind of watch that living in Surfside.
Right.
Even though I didn't do a whole bunch of contests, I saw them or I was involved with
Right.
some here and there. But it seemed like it just took a dive for a little while, and then now it's
Right.
kind of hot again.
Yeah.
And if we can keep all those kids
Growing, yeah.
So that's the thing. I mean, the young kid divisions.
Right.
When I was first started surfing in contests, I mean, I was a young kid. I was 13 my first time, but there weren't that many of us.
It was all men.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was
True.
a ton
So
of
true.
men.
Right.
You see that?
Yes.
It was.
And now there's more Menahunis and that sort of the young Grom age group, more competitors in those
Yeah.
almost
True.
than there are in men's now.
Yeah,
So-
it is true.
And that's a good thing going forward.
Yeah, and you've donated so many countless hours and many, many years of service to exactly that, bringing up the young crop of surfers. You know, sure, there's a large body of older guys, and we love to compete too in every age, but it really is about the kids and keeping the sport up. And you've been so good at
Oh no,
helping. with-
you're assuming I'm altruistic. No, I did it all because I wanted to surf. in
There
this
you well, there you
contest.
go. So at least the man's
I didn't
honored.
really,
The
I didn't
chief.
really want to help run the contest. I
Right.
just
You
wanted to
wanted to
surf,
surf
in
into
them.
it, yeah.
But then you sort of think, oh wait, I don't like the way that's going. I need to.
Right.
So for me, if you want to change things and make it better, you've got to get involved and
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. I mean, you can't just sit there and complain about something
Right.
and think it's going to change unless you know.
You got to be willing to do your
Yeah,
part.
especially on things like that. That's like volunteer.
Yeah.
Small organization, something like that. That's like running like a little league football team or
Yeah.
organization or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's the same way with doing when Larry Levis and I started getting involved
Right.
in doing the surf movies. It was the reason we got involved is the guys before us, they did a great job. Why do we want to change that?
Yes.
Oh, they stopped doing it. Well, I guess I got to pick up the ball and get going. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
no,
keep
you're-
doing hands.
yeah,
I
you're-
apologize.
No, it's totally fine. We were talking the other day about the surf movies, and there's going to be a large section of our audience that won't even get this. But there was a time, boys and girls, when there was no cell phones, and you couldn't just pull up live pictures of Pipeline. So the only way you found out what was going on in the surfing world, whether it was Hawaii, Indonesia, Florida, or anywhere else, people like John Jones would bring surfing movies to your town, and they'd run the film on a screen just like a movie theater. And we would gather in groves,
you get to
literally.
see what was going on. In
It was like
other
going to
places.
outer space, seeing Jerry Lopez riding Pipeline. There was no way to get that. You only had Surfer Magazine. You had
Yeah,
to
I
wait
mean-
30 days to get that. But
Yeah.
that surf movie was an event. It moved. I mean, it changed my teen years. It was just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably some of the part of technology. People get busy doing like we get crowds of doing surf movies and stuff like that. We do surf movie night. And we get
Yes,
crowds.
I love it.
And what I found is really, if we just play surf flicks, like not a surf movie,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
surf videos,
Right.
more people stay and hang around. I don't think everybody wants to watch a whole movie anymore
Yeah.
forever.
Right.
But man, if you put some surf videos up there, people will stick around and watch them.
Right.
At least the
Yeah.
surfers will. So
Exactly.
we'll put some of the dirt surfer stuff out there, and everybody wants to watch themselves.
Exactly.
Right.
Don't we?
Oh man!
So you are waiting for your date to have your knee fixed, and
Yeah.
when that happens, you'll be around, but you'll be kind of incapacitated for 2-3 months. But you're
Right.
going to heal, then you're going to come back.
So-
I hope so.
Oh, I know
Pray
you will,
so.
man.
So
Yeah.
it sounds like we need to get somebody a camera while he's
Oh,
healing.
Yes,
Take
yes.
some pictures. No.
Yeah,
As
we
soon as
really
I have
do.
the talent with the camera, and I don't.
That's how you get good.
Oh,
You
man.
just keep taking pictures, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, on that 28th at the museum, we're going to get you there. I hope you're feeling good. I don't know when that exact surgery is. And
Well, I don't know either yet.
there you go. Is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
it within a week or is it months?
It was supposed to be
Today?
tomorrow.
Oh well, there you go. Well, we're so glad you're here,
Well,
even
man,
more so.
Yeah,
man.
we're
wow.
glad. Yeah, man, it's really that's cool.
That is
Yeah.
so cool, man. Well, you're to me a surfer that I respect a great deal, and I look up to you because.
Same to you.
Well, I don't know about that, but you've just been in it for so long, and you've done so much for our community, and I just want to give you a personal round of applause.
Yeah,
thank
Shake
you,
your
thank
hand.
you. I appreciate
We
that.
appreciate it too,
Absolutely.
man. You were always, and I always say that too. Sometimes I pull up and I see who's surfing, and I'm like, I'm gonna go over here. And then sometimes I see a few other guys. You're always one of the guys that I'm like, I don't mind surfing with John.
No, you're a pleasure. You're the chief, man.
Yeah.
You're our chief, man. That's why we love
For
it.
sure. But yeah, man, I guess we just want to wish you good luck on your surgery.
Thank you.
We'll
thank you.
keep we'll keep the audience posted.
Yep.
Just kind of let everybody know how you're doing. Just send us a snapshot of you healing, and we'll put it on there.
Okay.
And you're such a fun guy to be around that you actually burned Matthew McConaughey's back in the green room.
Yeah,
Still can't get that dude on
We're-
the show,
we're-
buddy.
we-
Unbelievable.
we went a little long, so we ran out of time. So just
oh, no.
you know,
You're not going to get him on?
we're not gonna get him on again, so it'll
yeah,
be all right.
yeah.
So
Sorry
sorry
about
about
that,
that, Matt.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
The guy's gonna
have a
hate
good one,
us.
man.
Peace out. Love
Thanks,
y'all.
thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Oh, that was fun.